Hey folks, Phil the Beanie Man here today. We're talking about critter control. So even though the snow isn't gone, the bears are probably going to start coming out pretty soon if they're not out already. So I got my bear fence up. And this site is also prone to both skunks and raccoons. Raccoons, the biggest problem is once they figure out there's a pollen patty under the lid, they'll dig those out and you end up with all the lids thrown off your hives, maybe when it's still pretty cold. And skunks will eat the bees. So I'll show you how I'll set those traps up. First of all, you might recall from last fall my winder upper system needs a little improvement because this lid, the glue didn't stick very good, but it worked out exactly right. When we put I labeled this as being for this site, and when you put it back up again, worked out pretty much to the inch, being the right length. So that's good. You might wonder why I take it all down and only put it up again. If this wire had been here, I would have had no end of trouble getting the snow cleared out of this site. Because by having all the wire gone, I could take the snow and push it past the steel poles stayed, everything else went home, and I was able to clear the snow out of here fairly easily. So that all worked out pretty good. Okay, let's set these traps. So with skunk traps, skunks are a problem for bees probably all over the world. You want to be super careful not to accidentally catch someone's pet or an animal that you'd rather have alive. So I use a rotten egg for bait. You can see that I've cracked it a little bit, and that's kind of, especially in the spring, that's a skunk's natural food. They're out there prowling, looking for unhatched eggs from wild bird nests, and that's what they're eating a lot of. And so when they find this, they think that's exactly what I'm looking for. This box has got a kind of a screen on the back, so the skunk doesn't feel like it's too much of a trap. And then the Kona bear trap, double spring, very important. You want to make sure that that skunk is not still caught but alive when you get back. So you want this to be a humane and quick end to the skunk. The way these traps work is when the animal hits that trigger down the middle, this catch flips up and the whole thing closes and catches it around the back of the head. So you definitely want to set something up so the animal has to stick its head in to get the bait. And that little wooden ridge along the bottom holds the trap in the right place. And only once you got it set, you take the catches off the springs. Set that up so it's sticking its head in there and not trying to reach in with a paw or something. And I put this orange tube over the spike so that no one trips over it. Now I'll do one for a coon. It's a bigger trap, and there's greater risk here of catching a wrong animal. So I only use these inside my electric fence, so that the chances of a stray dog or whatever getting in here is pretty low. And for bait, I'm using a piece of pollen patty because that's what they're looking for anyway. So just toss that in the bottom. This is one of those square pails. It seems to fit the trap pretty well. The ground, Still a little frozen. That's probably enough. Now these larger traps, you got to be pretty strong in the hands. So there is a tool you can get, or you can make this up. I've made these out of just pieces of aluminum and just two catches on the end that squeeze together. First you squeeze the springs. Take the tension off of each spring. Then you can get the middle. But you got to make sure you don't have the trigger wrapped up in one of these. Once it's squeezed, it doesn't take that much finger strength to hold it. You want to make sure the catches are still on until you're done your whole setup. I like to set these, I don't know if it makes a difference, but with the trigger on the outside. That way the part of the trap that gets the animal doesn't have the trigger on it, and I think that's the part that tends to get damaged. Again, there's a wooden brace at the bottom to provide some resistance. And then once you got it all set, make sure you release the catches and get them out of the way so you get the full strength. And there we go. Hopefully, now if a coon decides to stay away and mind someone else's business, no problem, but if they come inside the wire trying to cause trouble, that'll be the end of them. So bear fence, skunk trap, coon trap, hopefully that looks after this site. Thanks a lot everyone, have a great day.